Hey everyone and welcome back. So I want to do a quick unboxing video. I was actually do these separately, but I figured, you know what, I might as well do them together because I don't actually have too much to say about each one just yet. And in fact, it took me a lot longer to get these. These two actually were like traveling from different states. You know, actually got into my state and then went all the way back out to I think it was Ohio for some reason. And by the way, I'm nowhere near Ohio, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, so it took a lot longer for these to get, because I know like a lot of people already have these. I'm saying these. What am I talking about? So first up, I'm talking about the Scream Factory release of the new 4K release of the the last three Halloween films. Or not last three. You guys know which ones I mean. And then, of course, the new 4K release of Army of Darkness. So I'm just going to go through this real quick. So let's start with the Halloween set, because I actually don't have too much to say yet, because I haven't watched any of them yet. So this is literally just, obviously, the box set that has all three. Some people wondered why it's a box set and they didn't sell them individually. That literally came down to a licensing issue. But what I do like about this is that just like the first five that they did last year, they did actually put these in the exact same type of case, you know, with the outer case. Here, in fact, let me just grab this one real quick. So as you can see, especially with here, it's like it's got the hard outer case, and then it has the interior right there, which obviously is a standard case. So before I showcase them individually, I just want to mention the outer box, which is actually not what I expected. It's not really a box. It's very, very thin. It's almost like almost like just a slipcover. It's very thin. It's not actually a box. I was kind of hoping it was actually going to be a box, but yeah, just let me show it off real quick. So obviously there's the front right there. And there's the side with the title. And there's the back with just a couple of the details, not all of them. And I think the top is pretty simple. And nothing on the bottom, so alright, scratch that. But yeah, this is kind of like a bummer. Not that I technically need the box, but still is the kind of thing where like, yeah, just hoping it could have been a little bit thicker. But I will say the plus side about it being so thin is if you actually have these like on the shelf, so with like the other five, for example, and you keep these three in this outer case, it's so thin that it's not going to stick out and kind of look weird. So you could actually, so it does actually work in that regard. It's just not, it's not a protective case. Again, this thing's like pretty thin right here. So as far as the individual releases go, I'll just do them in order. So here's the first one, Curse of Michael Myers, and there's the front of the outer case, and there's the side with the title, and the back with all the details. And I'm just going to slide this out. And of course I did flip the inside for the original theatrical one sheet, which you can see there. And there's the back, obviously with all the details as well. And then just the discs inside. There's the 4K of the theatrical cut. And then, woo, 4K of the producer's cut. Woo! And then the Blu-ray of the theatrical cut. Yeah, a lot of OCD going here. And then the Blu-ray of the producer's cut. I know some people said that theirs were loose and everything. Luckily, mine showed up okay. So the nice thing about this one is, of course, it's got a, a new transfer for both cuts, which is nice. And the included Blu-ray, it looks like it ports over all of the pre-existing extras from the box set. And, of course, it does have the new transfer on it as well. It does have a couple new extras. I'm blanking. I think there's a commentary track that's new. That might be an interview. I can't remember offhand. Anyway, so that's Curse of Michael Myers. Next up, H2O. And there's the front of the box right there. Side with the title. And then finally the back with all of the details. And pull this out. And of course, again, I did switch it to the one sheet, which you can see right there. There's the front and there is the back. And this one obviously is a little bit simpler. So it's got the 4K disc here and of course the Blu-ray right there. And again, the Blu-ray does have the new transfer on it as well. And finally, everyone's favorite, Halloween Resurrection. And there's the front of the case. And there is the side. And then finally, there's the back with all the details. And pull this out. And once again, I did flip it to the one sheet. And there's the front right there. And again, there's the back with all the details. And just like with H2O, it only has two discs. So here's the 4K disc and then the included Blu-ray. So I am glad that even though they had to sell these as a bundle as part of their licensing deal, I do like that they did do the exact same packaging as they did the first 5 last year, so that it all matches. So if you have them all on a shelf, I mean, they all match perfectly, which I'm so happy that they did, because I know for some of us, especially it's like, we want things to match, for those of us who care. Again, really the only downfall is this kind of outer thing. I do with it was just a hair thicker. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just like, again, I think the one plus is that when they are in here, and you did have them on the shelf like this, like, it's so thin that you wouldn't even know that there was a case here, but you could still keep the case around. So I've not actually been able to dive into these just yet. So I will save that for when I can, or save my thoughts on it anyway. So next up is Army of Darkness. And let's just start off with, here's these, I did get the bundle. So I'm not going to, just real quick, I'm not going to show the posters, mainly because they're in the other room. Obviously the posters, so you got a mini poster of the original one sheet, and then a poster of the artwork that's on the steelbook, which I'll get to in just a moment. So just as a heads up on that. But I did get the bundle, which I'll get to. There's only 3 things here, but still, it's like still. So here's the standard release with the original poster artwork, which I absolutely love, which you can see right there. And there's the front and there's the back with all the details. And there's obviously a lot here. And the inside has the original poster artwork. I don't think there's nothing on the flip side of that, though, just as a heads up. So just real quick, there's the 4K disc of the theatrical cut, and then all the others are Blu-rays. So Blu-ray, the theatrical cut, Blu-ray of the director's cut, and then a Blu-ray with the international cut and television cut. Obviously, all the extras are on the Blu-rays. This is really spread out. And I did watch this just last night from when I'm recording this, so I will get to my thoughts on that in just a moment. But I do want to showcase the steelbook. So here's actually just the outer part of the steelbook. But here is the front of the steelbook, which I hope you can kind of see okay there. And there's the side with the title. And then there's the back with the remainder of the artwork right there. Really, really cool artwork on this. Like, it's nuts. It's really insane. All right, and then, wait a second. Hold on. I just opened up the steelbook for the first time. I need to double check something. Okay, I'm going to do a side-by-side of this in just a moment. So the covers of the discs in the steelbook are different than the covers in the standard release. I mean, they're the same discs, but I'm just saying. So here, as you can see, here's the 4K disc, which has the artwork from the steelbook. Here's the Blu-ray, then with the theatrical cut, which obviously has the one sheet on it. And here's the director's cut Blu-ray with this artwork, which some of you are familiar with, and then the one with the international cut and the television cut, which has that artwork on it. I can't remember. I think that might be UK artwork, maybe? I can't remember. So that's the steelbook, but let me go back to the standard release, and as you can see, again, the 4K, the standard release, has this just picture of Ash here, and then this one of the Deadites in the pit, and then there's Ash at the windmill, and then there's Sheila there on that disc. So that's interesting. I was not aware of that. So again, just kind of going back, like the different discs cover. I mean, same discs, but different covers. Steelbook is kind of shaping up. I kind of was like, oh, but I love, I was like, man, I really love the one-sheet artwork, but I'm like, I don't know. I kind of really love the look of the discs in the steelbook. And then finally, I did get the bundle. Obviously, that's why I have both of those versions with the pin set, which I've not even opened yet. And again, pin set is from Gutter Garbs, who are doing, I think, a lot of the pin sets for the releases that they've done. And just real quick, here's a look at the outer box. Very simple, just like the other ones. Just, there's the title, and there's title on the side, and Gutter Garbs and Scream Factory, and then this image of the Necronomicon on the back. So, let's open this up, if I can. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, actually they look good. So here are the included pin sets. As you can see, there's a Necronomicon, Evil Ash, obviously Ash in the center, the one Deadite there down in the corner, and then Ash and Evil Ash when they're connected. And as I'm sure some of you know, so the one Deadite, I assume that's the witch from the one scene, who is actually played by Patricia Tallman, who is best known for us as being in the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. She played Barbara in that. She actually was a stunt woman. She's actually, I think outside of that, she's probably best known for doubling, I believe it was Beverly Crusher on Star Trek The Next Generation and Laura Dern's character in Jurassic Park. So a little trivia there for you. So here's the pin set for Army of Darkness. Now, so let me get back to... Steelbook. I wish I looked at it sooner. It looks so cool. So I did watch this last night. Actually, I just watched the 4K disc because I believe the Blu-rays, I think are more or less identical to the ones that were in the previous Blu-ray set. Obviously, the Blu-ray, the theatrical cut, does have the new transfer on it. The 4K disc literally only has the movie on it. It doesn't have anything else, not even a commentary track or anything. Like, it just has the movie. And it has two audio options. It has the original stereo mix. Thank you. Original theatrical stereo mix. And if the 5.1 remix, which has been around for a long time. And I will say I was kind of surprised because actually this actually would have been a fun one to actually have a Dolby Atmos mix on it. I think it would, you know, the sound design in this film is so much fun. I think it actually would have lent itself to a Dolby Atmos track, which I assume they probably would have done. My guess is, again, probably a licensing issue with Universal. I know that's one of the reasons why the other cuts, supposedly, like the director's cut specifically, is not in 4K, is that supposedly there was a licensing issue with that. To my knowledge, that's actually why. Unfortunately, the director's cut is not in 4K and on Blu-ray only. So only the US theatrical cut is the one that is in 4K here. And it looks great. I mean, I gotta admit, like, I was actually, you know, it's, you know, you get all the pluses of the 4K with the extra detail and the extra color space and everything. The only thing is it does kind of showcase a couple of the shortcomings, you know, some of the effects, because there's a lot of effects work in the film. And again, especially back in the early 90s, that's all, you know, they weren't using computers, at least not in the way they use them now. So it was all, you know, it's all processed. So a lot of the effect shots are obviously not going to look quite as good as non-effect shots. And there's a couple moments too, which you can really see now in the beginning. For example, when Ash first arrives, you know, it's like once you kind of get out of the recap opening, which it kind of like has some new footage and then also some stuff from Evil Dead 2, like that stuff looks okay, but then once he actually sort of lands and actually gets into fully the new stuff, you really get, like, you can actually really see the difference there, you know, in the quality and the clarity. But there's one shot, the close-up of him, you know, he's like, where in the hell? You know, he's doing that. I've always noticed this. There's, like, dirt on the lens. You can tell because they used, obviously, that same shot for, I think, like, one or two other shots as well, but it's more noticeable on the close-up of Bruce Campbell in that moment. And it's really apparent now. You can really, like, make out the dirt on the lens, which is funny. Again, that's not a flaw. That's just, I mean, it's a flaw when they shot it. It's not a flaw in the transfer. I just thought it was funny. But overall, I actually was very, very happy with the transfer on this. Again, I kind of wish it was a Dolby Atmos track, because like the 5.1 is okay. I kind of feel like it doesn't quite take full advantage of the sound design as much as I think it could. Like you know, because again, I always push for original theatrical mixes, but to always be included. But I have nothing against, you know, having a fun remix. And this one, I think, would have been kind of cool to have one. But again, my guess is probably licensing, because I think they would have done one. So again, just some quick thoughts. I'm not even going to call this a review, because I basically watched it just, you know, for myself. So it's just a quick unboxing of the Halloween set and the Army of Darkness bundle. Again, I haven't dived into the Halloween set yet, so I don't really know some of the details just yet. And I do have some other stuff I'm going to get to in a pickups video. I'm just going to do those separately. Obviously, one of these, which I'm sure you already know, obviously the Fright Night one, which I'm very excited to have, so I will do that. In fact, I'm going to do actually a review of that. So just want to share this real quick, and then I am going to do a separate pickups video. I'm going to do some, actually got a couple reviews coming up, and a lot more stuff to get to over the next few days especially. So definitely let me know if you guys have picked up these. Actually, I already know some of you already got them in, so let me know your thoughts if you've been able to watch any of them. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.